Hey guys, Ty Lord here with a movie and video game pickups video. Try to do these once a week if I can. And I actually found some stuff this week to share. And I got a package from my buddy Retro Tiburon with a lot of good stuff he sent me. I got something coming at you, Mario. I found a Resident Evil sealed here on Xbox at Rasputin's today. So I'll send that out to you. But he sent me a box full of goodies. And then, speaking of Resident Evil 5, do you guys think this should be remade? I think it's kind of a newer game and it still kind of holds up the graphics, so I don't know if this should be remade or not. I know probably people might enjoy it more with the non-tank controls, like with updated controls, because this is a fantastic co-op game. It might actually go over really well if it was remade. I'm hyped about Resident Evil 4 remake. Like I said, I was not into that being remade because it's perfect as it is. But just from seeing the trailers of it, man, it looks amazing, that Resident Evil 4 remake. So I don't know, I would be down for a remake of this as well. As long as they kept it faithful to the original, as it looks like they've done with the remake of 4. Anyway, now before I get to Mario's package, I want to share a game I've been playing this week and actually beat it like 3 or 4 times. The Bouncer by Squaresoft here. 2001. Wow, that's an older game there. Wow, that's over 20 years old. I was really interested in this, especially after playing Final Fight Streetwise. I'm kind of getting into these 3D beat 'em up games. There's not that many of them, so I'm starting to try to seek them out. Shout out to Terry309. He was giving me some tips on this. He's big into this game as well. And I didn't really know what to expect with this. It says it's a play and action movie. Kind of feels like an action movie. But more than that, it feels like a Final Fantasy story. But instead of turn-based battle, there's beat-em-up segments. And there's not really much exploration. It's just long cutscenes that would fit certainly into the Final Fantasy universe. Big epic plot, a big world-threatening super villains in here. Everyone has a little backstory. You could be 3 different guys. It's I think his name's Sion, the main guy. He looks like the little kid from Kingdom Hearts. It looks like a Kingdom Hearts games, but a beat 'em up. And at first I wasn't really feeling it after playing Final Fight Streetwise, because that had a lot more freedom. This one, you just play a little segment by segment of beat 'em up, and there's, like I said, there's a lot of cutscene and story between every segment. And I'll get some of the stuff I don't like about it out of the way first. So it has a save state, or it has game saves. Every time you win a match or a segment, you can save the game. Then you have to save, choose memory card you want to use, save it. Are you sure? Yes, which is fine. After every fight, you can do this, and after every fight, you can upgrade your characters. Terry gave me the advice when you first start off the game, just play through with one character only, because you're going to be too weak at the end with the bosses. So just with your first playthrough, play as one guy and just get him beefed up by the end of the game. Because if you switch back and forth between them, your buddies are not that smart, the AI, so you pretty much have to rely on yourself to beat the bosses. So you want your guy pretty beefed up by the end. So I would suggest when you play this, upgrade one guy, like all of his health and power and defense as much as you can before you get to the boss. And then so anyway, the problem is when you die, which is going to be quite a bit. The first time I played, because I wasn't upgrading one guy, I was switching back and forth between them. You're going to die a lot, and every time you die, the game just ends, just like any Final Fantasy game. So you have to go back to the main screen, go load game, go find your memory card, save, go load it, and then you got to go through all these cutscenes one at a time. Sometimes there'll be like 5 or 6 cutscenes and loading screens. You got to skip through it to get back to the part where you died, which was kind of frustrating to me. But I kind of got, as I went through the game more times, I got all my characters beefed up more, so I didn't die as much, so it wasn't so bad. Anyway, the gameplay kind of feels like, it almost feels like Force mode in Tekken. Like these guys, the fighting engine seems really solid. There's little Sion. There's a guy called Volt, the big guy. He's like a wrestler. They all have different little personalities. And then there's a guy called Kyo or Koyu or something. He's kind of like the funny guy. And then they meet little characters along the way. Each segment I was kind of used to Final Fight Streetwise. I like having that jab in beat 'em up games, like get in there, kind of just like in real life fighting. I was never really big into boxing. I was more of a grappler, but boxing, like I always just throw that jab out because it's safe. The same thing with video games. Like you want to throw the little jab. It's less of a you're sacrificing less, and there's less room. It doesn't hurt as much as a big roundhouse or whatever, but it's you get in there safe. You can set up for different things. So that's what I like about Final Fight Streetwise. He had the little jab, so you could get in there and throw a couple hits if the boss is super tough and has fast reflexes. This one, it seemed like all 4 face buttons. I didn't have a guide for this. It came in this nice custom case from Utopia Games. It's a disc only, but they had this nice case, which I appreciate. I like having a nice case on the shelf. Anyway, what was I going to? Oh, it has 4 face buttons, and it seems like every button is like a big heavy hitting blow. Like it doesn't seem like there's a little jab. Like they're either like doing these big heavy spin kicks or a big haymaker or a big uppercut or something. So I'm not really sure how I got accustomed to them, but seemed like a lot of big heavy hits, almost as if each button was like a special move. And then you could buy more moves with your points, or you can kind of do some combos. You can do juggling. Little Sion here, I kind of like playing him as the most because you could get the most hits in, because you can juggle the guy up in the air. Kind of reminds me a lot of Tekken, the game style, and they all have like different fighting stances. Some of them have like one of the bosses had like a capoeira stance, and one of them was had like a Bruce Lee. They all have different like fighting styles, which is cool. I was expecting it to be like a street fight, like a Final Fight type storyline, but it's like I said, it's more like Final Fantasy. It's just pretty much like a Final Fantasy story. I'm thinking if this game had been fleshed out more, I would have really liked it. Like if it had some exploration and some grinding, and then maybe just fit all of the cutscenes and fights into a big open map or something. I think, man, this would have been one of my favorite games of all time. But as it is, it's pretty short. Like every time I played through the game, I could beat it maybe like 45 minutes if I skip the cutscenes. So I appreciate that about the game. I don't really mind short games. Sometimes I keep going back and playing short games I like over and over and over. There's a little bit of variety in the fighting. Sometimes you're going through corridors. Sometimes you're out in the open. Sometimes you're in facilities or trying to go through, going up and down stairs and elevators and stuff. Like I said, some of the bosses are pretty difficult. If I would suggest, when you get to the bosses, have your buddies distract them and then sneak up on them and hit them, because the bosses are really good at blocking. There is a block button in this too, the R trigger blocks. But the bosses are pretty good have pretty good reflexes, and they block a lot. So I would have your guys, it's really nice when you have their stamina built up, because they can be over there distracting the boss, and you can sneak around and then hit the boss. I'm getting too deep into this game. I really enjoyed it though. Like I said, it didn't feel anything like a beat 'em up game. It felt like a Final Fantasy game, but pretty short, and the fighting felt a lot like Tekken Force mode. Almost very Tekken-esque. It's a beat 'em up, but it felt more like Tekken. Think if I can remember anything else. Yeah, multiple endings too. If you beat it with different characters, you get different endings. different branches of the story too. Like you could, if you choose before you get to every fight, you can choose between these 3 characters, and the story kind of goes off in a different way depending on who you choose. Like I said, I played through it 3 or 4 times, so I had all the characters like stats maxed out, and got a bunch of their super moves and all that. Yeah, pretty fun game. Yes, and I got that for pretty cheap at the at Utopia over there, so I'm happy with that. Okay, after I babbled about that for freaking 10 minutes, I'll go on to the package I got from El Tiburon. It was nice of them to send me all this stuff. But I'll start with the games. Titanfall 2 on Xbox One, which I can play. I'm not sure if that was on Game Pass or not, but I hear everyone says the story mode or the campaign in this is fantastic, like 10 out of 10. It's like a mech first-person shooter type game. I think you can fight like on foot, like first-person shooter, and get into mechs. It's starting to rain. Wow. I thought it was going to clear up for a few more days. That's okay. We need the rain. But I don't really know much about this other than it's like a fantastic campaign. And I don't know, like the way my family is always playing the Xbox, I never really have a chance. And to tell the truth, I don't really ever have a desire to play it. I know that's weird, but I've mostly been into like more retro games lately. Like I'm hoping I'll have a change of thought, and I'll start liking newer games. But it seems like I get all these new games and I never play them, or I put them in and I just play maybe 1 level and then I'm done with them. But I have that one now, so I appreciate having that in the collection. And then he sent me, and I don't know anything about this game. I kind of want to go into it fresh, and maybe it'll be a hidden gem and a fun experience. He wrote a little note on there saying Tylord, which is my YouTube name, of course. But this game is called Time Lord. I guess it sounds like my name, so that's why he sent it to me. Milton Bradley game. The Milton Bradley games kind of had cool covers. I like the artwork on this. I don't know what the heck this is. If it's a time travel movie. There's like a knight with shining armor and a sword, and there's a dragon behind him, and then there's an alien, a flying saucer flying by. This has potential to be something epic. I have no idea what this is, so I'm looking forward to trying this out. I'm hoping it'll be something that'll that'll capture me, and I'll try to play through this. I have no idea what this is. And here's one I requested. I've always wanted to play this on Nintendo Wii, even though I can't stand that nunchuck. And that's how you have to play this, is Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop. Set inside the shopping mall with all the zombies. And this is not the same game as the 360 version. I guess it's might be the same storyline, but the gameplay is totally different. The reason why this game appealed to me is it looked like it had Resident Evil 4 a control style. I'm hoping they just took the control style off of Resident Evil 4 for Wii and put it into this game, because this is going to be a fun game if you can play as if you were playing it like Resident Evil 4 style. I'm hoping that's what's gonna. Yeah, from the creators of Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. So if this is like more Resident Evil 4 but inside of a shopping mall, I'm gonna be super thrilled. And that's it for the games. So y'all can get out of here now, and I can talk about my boring movies, starting with the VHS trash. But this is still stuff from Mario here, from El Tiburon. He sent me Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, with the part 1 with the cool cover there. And I don't think I had this. I'm thinking I maybe, did I send Mario this? Or did I send him part 2? Or I don't know. This looks really familiar. Anyway, I think I have part 2 on VHS, so it's cool to have this one. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. Probably my favorite. Yeah, definitely my favorite of the series. On PWM's podcast a couple years ago, we rated and reviewed every Nightmare on Elm Street movie. on DVDs, Nuts and Popcorn. It was Retro T-Bone, myself, and the host PWM. We ranked and reviewed all these. I think we all had this one as number one, except for Mario. What's her name? Heather Langenkamp's fantastic in this. And she came back in a few other movies in the series. And what's his name? Classic. Started off with a boom, with a big bang, with a, what's his name? Robert Englund is the villain. Freddy Krueger, like classic character right from the beginning of this. And then another scary movie. I didn't have this on. This is it's hard for me to watch this movie. It's very powerful, a very scary movie from the 70s with Linda Blair, and a William Friedkin movie. One of my favorite directors, The Exorcist, and Max von Sydow is in it. This was really disturbing movie about the little girl is possessed by the devil. So it's so creepy, so unsettling. It's been a while since I've watched this. Like I said, it's hard for me to watch. I don't know if it might. I might. Now that I'm older, it might not scare me as much, but so I should get back into that. But I think it's a fine Christian movie. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm super happy he sent me these. I saw he picked these up at the retro shop, and I was hoping he would keep them. And I don't even think he watched them. I think he just put them on and played them in the background and didn't absorb them and take them in as they should have been. Here is 2 Billy Blanks and Roddy Piper movies, Back in Action and Tough and Deadly. And I was thinking this was the first one. They're not related to each other. 94, they came out the same year. I'm thinking this is the first one. Cool buddy cop movie, a low budget, straight to video. And this one's they're fighting a drug gang. Piper's a cop, and Billy Blank's sister is involved in a gang. A lot of fighting and blowing up. It's been a while. I probably should get back to you on this one. I've seen it a few times, but it's been a while. And then Tough and Deadly is another one. Bounty hunter, ex-CIA guy. Roddy Piper and Billy Blanks has his memory lost, and he's teaming up with Roddy Piper, and I think Richard Norton's in this one. They fight him. I got to get back to, because I've seen these many times before, but they're kind of blurring together for me right now. But I'm happy to have it. I'm a big fan of Piper and Billy Blanks. So, and these are not available on DVD or VH or Blu-ray. So I'm super happy to have those. Yeah, thank you so much, Mario. You don't know how much that made my day seeing those in there. Let's get this out of the way. I can fit that in there too. Okay, not a bad packing job if I say so myself. Okay, and then on to the stuff I picked up today. These were all 25 cents a piece. Or were they 50 cents maybe? I think they're 50 cents now. So I think Mario sent me the Naked Gun 33 1/3 on VHS. So the buffoon I am, the weirdo VHS tape collector I've turned into, I got the Naked Gun and the Naked Gun 2 1/2, The Smell of Fear. I remember OJ was in both of these. Priscilla Presley was in both of these. She's super attractive. Elvis did good. George Kennedy, of course. I think Robert Goulet was the villain in this one. And I think Ricardo Montalban was the villain in this one. These are hilarious. Zucker and Abrams written movies. 88. Wow, that's getting. I can't believe it's that old now. 91. So 90s movie. Yeah, fantastic to have those. That'll look good in the collection. Here's a movie I really like. And it was a big, huge flop. It was a big, high-budget movie and a big flop. Yeah, but I really liked it. I liked it more than any of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Sorry to be a hipster, but a Rennie Harlin movie, Cutthroat Island. Rennie Harlin did some fantastic 90s movies. One of my favorites, Deep Blue Sea and Cliffhanger. I think he might have done one of the Die Hards as well. Fantastic action, a lot of blowing up. The explosions in this are like practical explosions. They look fantastic. It's got old Matthew Modine, and the female pirate Gina Davis is kind of the star, and she's smoking hot, being all tall and sexy. Yeah, fun movie. I think the bad guy was really good. Frank Langella was the bad guy. Old Skeletor. Yeah, very cool movie. So I thought that might look nice up on the shelf when I do my man cave, if I ever do that. And then here's one of my favorites. Highlander movies. I know this one didn't get much praise, but I enjoyed it. It kind of went in a funny direction that they never went back to. It's probably not canon anymore. And that is Highlander 2, The Quickening. Really weird movie, a sequel to the second one. It's like they're aliens. The Highlanders are actually aliens from another dimension or something. The bad guy in here, it's got Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery comes back to life somehow, and he dies again. One of the quotes from this movie I've always used in my entire life since seeing this was when he's about to die and Christopher Lambert goes, "Will I ever see you again?" And Sean Connery says, "Who knows, Highlander?" I always say that when I don't know something, like if someone asks me a question at work or my family asks me something. Hey, did the garbage come yet? Who knows, Highlander? Or if I don't know the answer to a question, I always say that. Yeah, and then the bad guy is Michael Ironside from Total Recall. The girl in this, the love interest, is the freaking lovely Virginia Madsen. Like I said, I'm more into brunettes, but man, Virginia Madsen does it for me. Her face is so beautiful. Yeah, who directed this one? Yeah, based on characters created by Gregory Wyden. Russell Mulcahy. I'm not really familiar with him. Yeah, it says, two swashbuckling immortals enter a fiery final battle to save the Earth. And then I got this movie, and it's been so long since I've seen this. Since I was a little kid. I Pity the Fool Who Messes with Mr. T, DC Cab. I haven't seen this in so long, and Mr. T was like one of the first characters or personalities I ever remember from when I was a small kid. He was like my hero, especially from the A-Team, and then he went on to wrestling. I don't think I was ever gotten into WWF if it wasn't for Mr. T, because Mr. T was there. And he was buddies with Hogan's. Of course, Hogan blew up, probably even bigger than Mr. T after that. Mr. T was in Rocky 3, and I remember I always just wanted Clubber Lang to win because I liked Mr. T more than Rocky, because even though he was a douchebag in that. But story by Joel Schumacher, directed by Joel Schumacher. Gary Busey's in it. A beautiful waitress gets caught up in a kidnapping with Mr. T and other cabbies riding to the rescue of Mission Impossible. Riding to rescue to the tune of Mission Impossible, I guess. Okay, yeah, it's been so long since I've seen this. Adam Baldwin's in it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to diving back into that. And here I think was the pickup of the day. It had some nail polish, like silver nail polish with writing on it. Like, oh man, but I wiped it off with alcohol. It came off pretty good. But I'm super happy to have this, just like the Back in Action and Tough and Deadly. Another 90s movie, like kind of under the radar. I think it actually had a theatrical release and has big names in it, but it's kind of an overlooked gem. And that is Showdown in Little Tokyo with Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren. This might be my favorite Brandon Lee movie and my favorite Dolph Lundgren movie. Two cops battling against the Yakuza in I forgot what town it is. Los Angeles, of course. The bad guy in here is Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa is the bad guy in here. Shang Tsung. And he has, I think that might be him back there. He has all the Yakuza tattoos. He's the bad guy. What's cool about this and unique is Brandon Lee is actually like the wisecracking, like funny guy cop in this. And Dolph Lundgren's kind of like the more traditional Japanese, like he's into like Japanese arts. He's more like he's more controlled and it doesn't have much emotion. Steeped in Eastern traditions, yeah. And then this guy's more charismatic. He's funny, just like he is in Laser Mission. So it's a cool buddy cop. They kind of have different personalities. And this guy's a badass martial artist. Like he actually competed back before he was an actor. So he does some cool karate. Of course, Brandon Lee is it's in his blood. And man, I wish I would have seen more of this guy. His untimely death was unfortunate. I think right when he was blowing up, he probably would have been like a big, huge superstar right now if he hadn't passed away. But I think this is my favorite movie with him. What's her name is in this too? Tia Carrere, I think, is Dolph's love interest in this. It has a lot of those little parts. I think Gerald Akamura is in it. The bald guy with a mustache, he always has weapons, martial arts guy, really cool, like little like character you see he was in Big Trouble in Little China. Let's see who else is in. Directed by Mark Lester, that directed Commando. Commando is the greatest action movie of all time. This might be one of the best 90s action movies right here. Oh man, that's about it. Did it under a half hour. I'm very ashamed of myself. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to try to stream some more Resident Evil 4 tonight. I got to go to the gym now. And yeah, that'll do it for this week. Thanks for stopping by, guys. If you have any input on any of those or want to tell me about any of those I haven't seen yet, let me know. So until next time, have a wonderful week.